Our next fighter making his way to the cage, Daniel Garcia.
Next up here, 3 2-minute rounds in the University of Mixed Martial Arts lightweight division. First at 155 pounds, 25-year-old Danny Garcia fighting with NZT Pankration out of Koreatown. Lots of Pankration experience, Grappler's X, Naga, the 5'7" tall fighter with 1 win and no losses, that one coming back in August here at the U, a round 1 TKO against Ramon Mendoza. You know, it was a quick fight, didn't get to see a whole lot from Danny Garcia in that one.
Yeah, but we all saw what we wanted to see, and that's a knockout, so I saw enough. And he's a good little prospect, even though we only saw him fight for 9 seconds. We may not see him fight for more than 9 seconds this fight, too.
Yeah, it's hard to learn much about a new fighter when their fight goes less than a 1/6 of a minute. He landed that short lead left early on in that fight, followed up with strikes quickly, and the referee stepped in. One thing we do know about Danny is he has some power. He can land a good power shot.
You know, and as a young fighter, you know, I've gone through it, and I've coached a lot of fighters. When you fight someone that knocks everyone out, you really focus on just that one aspect when they may have other skills, but you didn't see them, so you focus so much on working on your striking, and then Danny Garcia can come out here and take him down and, you know, work a different game. So it's an advantage when you only have done a few things that you know that your opponent is gonna focus on that one thing. I'm sure Pious was working on a lot of striking for this fight, and, you know, keeping the hands tight and keeping the chin down and stuff like that, stuff that, you know, prevents knockouts.
I mean, you gotta expect he was working that striking, but as you were saying, Danny Garcia has other aspects to his game. And we talked about earlier, Grappler's X, Naga, this guy has been competing in jiu-jitsu and in no-gi jiu-jitsu, which is really important for cage work.
Yeah, so it makes you, you know, you have to end up, you want to focus on going against the striking, but then you have to still be well-rounded. It's tough.
Well, Danny Garcia here set for his second fight here against Pious Enilolobo Jr.
His opponent, Pious Enilolobo.
With the extremely versatile background comes to the cage Pious Voodoo Enilolobo Jr. He's trained in Shotokan, Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, a very diverse, lifelong martial artist. He's a special ed teacher who came here with his parents from Nigeria, went to school in Nigeria for 10 years, now teaches kids martial arts at Flying Kick Martial Arts. And as we saw last time, we should expect big things from Pious.
Yeah, Pious is good, man. Pious has a pretty well-rounded game, and not really too afraid. Definitely does a lot of creative strikes. He's a pretty big guy too for the weight, so he's got some big punches, and he's just physically well built. And, you know, I think the thing that he has is some good wrestling. I think you know, he's got to avoid the early strikes, but I would love to see him get in on a takedown and, you know, try to land some ground and pound and kind of negate what Danny Garcia does. But like we said earlier, he does have the Grappler's X Naga Pankration experience, so there's like a double-edged sword on whichever game plan you have. If you want to stand with him, you have to deal with the stand. If you want to hit the ground, you have to do some groundwork. So it should be a fun one.
That's going to be the big question, is seeing the wrestling of Pious Enilolobo Jr. You know, last time in his fight against Ricardo Robles, we saw a lot of his clinch work against the cage. He was very strong in the clinch. Got to see a lot of those big techniques. He throws a lot of power behind those punches and kicks. Probably maybe too much power, you could say. A lot of his body behind those big strikes.
So don't you... There's no such thing as too much power.
No such thing as too much power.
That is, you know, but yes, you do want to be able to conserve, and, you know, he's a well-built guy. I don't see him getting too tired, but it happens, you know. Like, I think last fight, towards the end, he was a little tired, I believe. But, you know, this is an MMA fight, and it's better to lay it all out there than lose and be thinking, I'm not that tired and I lost. Maybe I should have done a little more work and tried a little harder.
Well, I don't think Pious is worried about that. We spoke before the fights earlier tonight. He's extremely confident, very focused. He was smiling, laughing. He is ready for tonight's fight. He has been ready for tonight's fight. And I think that we're going to see an evolved Pious Enilolobo. You know, looking initially at these two, it looks like Pious might have a slight size advantage despite them being the same height. But again, two guys not afraid to trade. Let's get our introductions here from Salvador Arellano.
Our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Downtown Vape for all your vaping needs. Scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the 155-pound division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Pankration practitioner. He steps into the cage with a record of 1 win and no losses. His 1 win coming by way of knockout. He stands at 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing at 152.6 pounds. Representing NZT Pankration from downtown Los Angeles, Daniel Garcia! And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter. He comes to the cage with a record of 1 win and no losses. Stands at 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing officially at 153.8 pounds. Fighting with BJMUTA and flying kick from Inglewood, California, Pious Larry Landless.
Here we go, folks. 3 2-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Pious Enilolobo in the black trunks, Danny Garcia in the green trunks. A battle between two undefeated 1-0 young fighters here in California amateur lightweight fighting. And both guys quick out. Danny looking to replicate his initial success from his first fight, but Pious ducks under those first strikes and puts Danny Garcia on his back in the corner.
That's what I said. I'm like, if you come out and try to get the takedown, don't even let him throw a strike.
Big left hand there from Pious.
And right to another takedown.
We were talking earlier about the size advantage, Pious possibly be having a strength advantage in this fight, and so far that's the way it's looking.
Yeah, Pious is pure muscle. There's no wasted amount of mass with him. It's all built for, you know, physical activity, it looks like.
Danny Garcia is fired up. Look at the fear, the fury in his eyes. Big left kick to the face of Danny Garcia.
Wow. This fight could be close to over. That was an amazing head kick. Garcia still fighting, ends himself in a full mount, trying to hold on and kind of get out of the round. He's a little under a minute left. You'll see a little bit of blood might be coming from the eye.
I was trying to say the fury, not the fear, in the eyes of Danny Garcia. And right as I say that, big kick upstairs. You got to think that those pads that are camo regulated those shin guards probably saved Danny a lot of damage from that kick.
It definitely saved him a lot of damage and possibly a long night in the hospital.
Even with those shin guards, though, Danny Garcia got rocked by that kick. Pious really pouring it on. Danny, though, doing a great job here trying to recover and avoid extra damage. He's going to
get out and get himself back to the feet. Then some big strikes in on a takedown. Huge slam.
What a slam from Pious. Pious just pouring it on.
Short time. We're close on a finish, but it looks like Danny is going to get himself out of round one after a couple of near finishes. Great round by Pious.
Tonight's fight card available.
What an unbelievable performance here in this opening stanza. Pious just pouring it on, big punches, big takedowns, and of course that big left high kick. But on the other end, you got to respect the ability of Danny Garcia to get back in this fight. He took that big kick upstairs, and he was immediately defending himself. Did not let it phase him as much as it should have.
Well, that's like it's one, like I said earlier. It's one of those skills like. Danny's not going to quit. He's not going to quit unless, well, he's not going to quit. He's going to get the ref to pull stop the fight. He can take a shot. He's pretty game. It hasn't been going his way, but it's only been 2 minutes.
So far, Pious has had the advantage in the boxing, the advantage in the kickboxing, and in the takedown game. What are you telling Danny Garcia right now to prepare for round number 2?
You know, you're just telling him watch out for the takedown, try some feints, move, and try to pick your shots, because one wrong move, you can end up on the ground again. You have to really think this part out, very much so.
And Danny Garcia is ready for round number 2, comes out, but it's Pious with the initial kick. An attempt at a tie clinch knee to the stomach there from Danny Garcia, loses his balance. Pious here trying to choose his shot carefully.
Yeah, doing a good job being active with those feet, keeping Pious out from entering. A little up kick try there. If I was Danny, when you see an opportunity, you either wait for the ref or you get yourself back to your feet. I think the ref should probably step in here soon. Not too much going on.
A little bit of a stalemate at the moment. Refs watching it carefully.
Yeah, not much going on. Either one guy has to engage in the guard, or the other guy has to get up, or the referee has to break them up. If I was right here, I'd love to see the ref step in and get them back to their feet.
And there goes the referee, standing it back up halfway through round number 2. 1 minute remaining here in the second portion of this 3-round fight. Pious feints with a spinning back fist. Danny Garcia, though, still coming forward, still throwing feints and punches.
So he's gonna get his back taken right into the mount. He has to be careful. You know, when you get mounted here, you gotta fight the hips, you gotta fight the hands, you gotta look for sweeps, you gotta get out of there. This is the second most dominant position, and a lot of ground and pound from this position. You won't see too many submissions, maybe an armbar attempt, but you know, Danny's got to hold on, try to control the arms, and you know, maybe try to roll when Pious throws a punch like he just did right there.
Some pretty nasty damage over the left eye of Danny Garcia, and Pious just keeps pouring the pressure on. Danny escapes for a second, and there's Pious with that back clinch, putting his back on the mat again.
Yeah, and I think Danny's going to get himself out of the round again. You know, not as lopsided, not really a lopsided round, but he was on the mat most of the fight based on the slip and the takedown. So we got to see Danny come out. If Danny wants to win this fight, he's got to come out hard. Submission. You know, I'd like to see Danny maybe like to try a takedown or land some good strikes. You know,
Also,
Pious just has to continue doing what he does.
Pious, very impressive so far. But what I was impressed about in the second round was Danny Garcia's will to come forward. He continued after taking those big shots in round number 1, continued coming forward, pressing the action, not waiting for Pious to engage.
Yeah, but the one thing we know that Pious is going to try to go for a takedown. You have to be careful when you're trying to land one big punch and not combinations, that you're going to give up. You might give up position. You might. So if I was Danny here, I would maybe not press the action forward so much and just try to land my shot, because Pious tries to do big moves. So you got to look for those. So that's where you try to time your kick, time your submission, time your punch. You know, you only have 2 minutes here, so one wrong move, fight's over and you lose the decision to Pious.
Who's got more left in the tank here going into round number 3? Who will continue in the direction of Pious Enilolobo, or can Danny Garcia steal this one in the final 2 minutes? Danny with a couple feints coming forward, low kick,
if I was
inside.
him, you know, maybe not try so many leg kicks, and you got to focus on the head. And you know, when you're throwing these kicks, you got a guy like Pious that's probably going to try for a takedown, try to catch them.
Pious with that stiff jab, still staying very loose. Looking to pick his shots here in this third and final round.
Nice head kick attempt by Danny. You know, at least when you throw a head kick, there we go. That's what I was talking about, trying to push the takedown. If he could step up and drive, you're just going against a very, very strong opponent in Pious. You know, he's built to defend takedowns and do takedowns. It's tough. If you can get him against the cage, that's one thing.
Well, Pious was talking earlier tonight about his wrestling. We mentioned earlier that growing confidence, and that's been part of the story of this fight. Yes, there's been the big techniques, the big strikes, but I think the big story here is in the wrestling advantage of Pious Enilolobo.
Yeah, I think that's been the difference maker here. He's strong and powerful. He's and he's taken advantage of that. He saw Danny Garcia's last fight, and he's taken away what Danny Garcia is the best at, and it's throwing some good strikes. Got it.
Big elbows now.
Those are, from my understanding of the rules, those are illegal shots. You cannot hit to the spine area.
Well, you gotta wonder where the referee is calling the spine area. You could argue those were on the muscle now. Pious
the spine
here,
is the center of the back where he was striking.
Pious here setting up this armbar, looking to extend it, and that's it. Tap out, submission victory for Pious Voodoo Enilolobo here in round number 3.
Big win for Pious.
Huge win for Pious. You know, but now the question might arise as to how much, though. I mean, the win was definitely in Pious's column. I think this was pretty sewn up for him. Didn't look like much was going to change here in that last final 60 seconds. But you do have to wonder how much those strikes to the back helped him set up that armbar.
Those hurt. You don't want to be struck in the back. There's a rule basically behind the ears straight down, almost like a mohawk that goes straight down your back all the way down, is the area you cannot strike. It goes from basically the top of the head straight down, and that's clearly in there. You know, maybe there's not good interpretation of the rules by either the refs or the fighters, but my understanding, that's a key on safety, and that's an illegal strike, and you know, that's especially in amateurs. You know, in pros, I've seen stuff like that kind of get away, but when you're throwing elbows to someone's spine, that could be a longer injury than just this fight.
It looked like the referee warned him off of one of those, but it also looked like Pious was aiming those more for those outside muscles, maybe even for the kidney section.
Well, he was aiming them, but didn't hit the right target. You know, if I was a referee, you pull him off, maybe take a point away, and that's, you know, that could really hurt the guy. Danny seems fine, but you know, it's safety. Like I said, this is amateur MMA. They're not getting paid, so safety is a real issue.
The elbows being what they were, still a fantastic performance. For the official decision, let's go to Salvador Arellano.
The third man in the ring, Larry Landless, brings the fight to a halt 1 minute, 44 seconds into the third round. Your winner by way of tap out due to an armbar, out of the red corner, Pious Voodoo Enilolobo.
Let's give it up for him. That was a great fight. Pious, come talk to me.
Well, first of all, I want to let you all know, none of this would be possible without Kyle. Where you at, Kyle? That was for you, Kyle.
Awesome.
Secondly, before I even get started, some beautiful people passed this year. I want to give it up to Paul Walker. I want to give it up to Nelson Mandela. I want to give it up to all those people with unrecognized stars, so to speak. I want to give it up to them too. May God rest all your souls.
That's a good moment of respect, thank you. That was a really great fight from start to finish, and you seem to be fighting your fight. You went to the ground, there was a lot of striking. How'd you feel in that first round?
Well, let me tell you what happened. I got out here, I didn't expect my kids to be here. So when I got out here and I looked out there, I saw Nasir and I saw Rizzo, and I thought to myself, you cannot lose this fight. Your kids cannot see you lose this fight. So I said to myself, calm down, take your time, pick your shots, and take it.
And when you say kids, you mean the kids that you teach or your children?
The kids that I teach are here also. Shout out, Flying Kick. Shout out, BJMUTA. Shout out, my own flesh and blood. Nasir, Rizzo.
All right, that was an awesome interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else you want to shout out?
You know what? Got a lot of people to thank. The people that helped me get here. All of you know who you are. The people that sponsored my gear. Derek, Mason, you too, I see you too, BJMUTA, for presenting me with the greatest coaching of all, Brian Peterson, Master Sam, for providing all the necessary monetary needs that I need so I can go out there and do what I do best. and that's entertain all of you guys. Are you not entertained?
He fights, he teaches, he's a good sportsman, and he respects people. Give it up for him. Pious Enilolobo.
One more shout out to all my co-workers that came out to see me. Justin, all of you guys. Big Steve, I love you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you all the fans that came to see me, Daddy Garcia, and all these fine young warriors that are here yet to compete, all the ones that have competed. We all put a lot of work into this, and we all enjoy your company. And I also want to thank you guys, the commentators, you, Tori, J-Tan, I love you all. The cameraman, the picture guy, where is he? I love you too. Where's that picture, dude?
Are you not entertained?
Your winner and post-fight interview champion, Pious Voodoo Enilolobo.
Pretty sure he spoke for longer than the fight went on. And that was amazing. I don't know which I liked better, the fight or that, but amazing.